It's such a privilege to work with so many of you. Dr. O'Loughlin, I've recently become acquainted with him, and we both live in Fredericksburg and working with the team with Texas Ed 911, and then all of you who I haven't met, we interact online, which is also a great pleasure. But today I want to talk to you about communities in schools, and I've known about communities in schools for many years. Some of you may know that I'm a former comprehensive sex educator, so I actually collaborated with communities in schools over a decade ago, probably much longer than that. But recently, communities in schools came to Fredericksburg, Texas, and we didn't really know what to think of them. We didn't receive any information about them except for seeing the contract in the board agenda. And as we read that contract, we had a lot of questions. And once we asked those questions, the school, the board members, our local newspaper completely lashed out. But today what I want to do is really explain to you who Communities in Schools is. So if you haven't received this, I passed this out earlier, I want you to grab one. And you maybe even have a total of 3 handouts now about communities in schools. And they all go over the exact same well, not the exact same, we've communicated it differently, but we're all basing our information on the DEI resources that are found on the website, on the CIS website. So what I want to begin with is mention that Communities in Schools is the largest TEA third-party vendor, and they are committed to DEI. Now, they're the largest provider of behavioral health services and mental health in Texas Title I schools, and they practice from the lens of DEI. So, basically, from public testimony that CIS has provided to the legislature, they are letting us know that they are the largest provider of mental health and behavioral health in our schools as a third-party vendor. And the reason that is very concerning, there's so many reasons that's concerning, is that as we're hearing testimony about grievances not working, PIRs not working, well, guess what? They're a third-party vendor. They're not a government organization. We cannot PIR communities in schools. They're a private organization. In their contract with Fredericksburg ISD, which was not, we were able to stop them from coming into our school, but it even has an indemnification clause that says neither the district or communities in schools will be held liable if anything were to happen to a student under their care. So they are, if you Google TEA, communities in schools, you will find that they are written into our Texas Education Code. They are part of the Education Strategic Plan for the Future of Education in Texas. You will find on that TEA website that they are receiving millions and millions of dollars from our taxpayer money here in the education of Texas, as well as federal money. They are bringing in so much money, and they are the largest mental health provider in Texas, and they are committed to diversity, equity, and inclusion. Now, they came to our school, and I did my research and saw that they had DEI services and resources on their website. And they denied that they would practice that in our school. They said, oh, if you're conservative, then we'll only do what you want us to do. That was in October. And they actually sent emails that show that they actually said that we were basically exaggerating, that we were, basically attacking them. It was misinformation, that we were lying, but they didn't deny that what I found on their website was actually on their website. They also said, and I say these things because you need to know what their tactics are going to be in your school. They also rationalized and said that DEI information is from our national organization. It's not from our local affiliate, as if they only take the name of the national organization. So all that happened in October. In November of 2022, their staff attended the DEI Summit, sponsored by the National Organization of Communities in Schools in Washington, D.C. And not only did they attend, they shared on social media how excited they were to attend. And one of their own staff members was leading one of the presentations. But yet they denied that they worked from the lens of DEI. And what does that DEI look like? Well, after that November presentation that they did, or the summit that they had, they put all their resources on their website, and I downloaded them and went through them, all of their PowerPoint presentations, all of their resources. And it is deep conflict theory, critical race theory, critical gender theory, critical sex theory. And I have some of them here that you can look at afterwards. The claim that they are not going to implement DEI in our schools is false. Why? Because one of the resources that they have on their website is that they want their staff to self-assess themselves on their ability to teach and to create social change with their DEI practices. For example, here's the assessment that I was able to download. Have you partnered with the school district personnel to create school system transformation related to DEI? Have you recognized, intervened, and repaired any microaggressions as they were revealed to me in a timely manner? Here is their microaggressions training. A white man or a woman clutching their purse or checking their wallet as a Black or Latinx person approaches or passes. You can look at this afterwards. Have you confidently addressed any problematic behavior in the moment with staff, district, and personnel, and modeled DEI advocacy and communication skills with school and district personnel to enhance support of best practices related to educational equity? Does this sound like they don't implement DEI? Have you promoted diversity, equity, and inclusion by widely sharing the benefits with colleagues and openly asking constructive questions to move schools toward fully integrating DEI principles? Remember, that's critical race theory, critical gender theory, and critical sex theory. Engage students and families to advocate for equitable education practices at the school and district levels. Regularly work with administrators to partner on the work of educational equity. And it goes on and on. Develop or identify programs and practices to support student leaders to promote DEI. Let's back up on that. Practices to support student leaders to promote DEI. They're making activists of our children with our taxpayer money. But not only that, these theories are harmful mentally and emotionally. It is a demoralizing theory and practice that will destroy all hope in our children and create anger and insecurity and bitterness. And it is really brainwashing. And the only thing that will make them feel comfortable, according to how DEI teaches them and guides them and transforms them, is to become even more active in DEI and to be part of that struggle and to share it everywhere. That is what communities and schools is. And they are in our school districts, not all. And another thing that you need to know in watching out for this is that because they're a third-party vendor and you're concerned about mental health, you're concerned about SEL, you're concerned about all these programs, imagine a day that we're able to legislate those things out, maybe. But when the TEA brings in communities and schools, they are the new vehicle where teachers don't have to teach it, because community and schools is providing the wraparound services for Marxist ideology. Boom, they've done it. If you can't PIR them, you can't submit a grievance, you can't do anything because you don't have any protections at all because they do not follow under the education code. So there's solutions on there. The other thing I want to point out on that before I leave, because she's giving me the hook, the QR codes. Watch Now. I actually have videos that you can watch where I walk you through the LGBT DEI training. I walk you through the beads of privilege training. and really break it down for you. The tactics are very similar to comprehensive sex education. It's a behavior change model, and so they're really just changing our children's values and behaviors, and really, and even the adults as well. If you don't mind, I think the one thing that I do want to share is that they are going to say that the only children whose parents consent for them to get CIS services will be served by CIS. That's not entirely true. They do a lot of seminars, and so really that's school-wide. Their assessments at the beginning of the year and at the end of the year, they describe as being school-wide. Their hope is to bring in more students into the program. So they're going to actively look for that because they need to show the TEA that they're serving the community. My thought is, why do the schools want it so desperately? Something tells me that they're Title I driven. So if there's more need, that means the schools get more Title I money. Very money driven. But here's a testimony. And this is actually from Kristen Bentley, this is a mother from her area in Longview. I was contacted by the parent of a former Longview ISD last fall who was seeking help. Her daughter is currently in the 5th grade. During the middle of her 4th grade year, her male STEM teacher started to transition from male to female, including in both physical appearance and no longer being called Mr. The parents requested that their daughter be removed from the STEM class, which was accommodated by the administrator. This year, now in the 5th grade, the new homeroom teacher had a problem with this arrangement and talked to the daughter about it, going so far as telling her Jesus was an ally. The teacher then had the CIS worker talk to the daughter about why she wasn't allowed to be in the transgender STEM teacher's class, and the CIS social worker probed the daughter about her family's religious beliefs. This was all done without parental permission or consent. The parents were furious and within 2 days removed their daughter from the school and are currently homeschooling. She is filing a complaint with the district, but once again, according to the contract, it's going to come to nothing.